Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm coming to you with yet another knife review, and this time we're looking at a Cold Steel. Now sadly, this knife has been discontinued by Cold Steel, and that is a shame because it really is a fantastic blade, especially for the money. However, if you are interested in this knife, but you can't find one for a reasonable price, the Cold Steel Working Man is extremely similar in design, specs, and materials. So consider that a decent substitute for this if you want one of these but can't find it. So I'm not going to babble too much in the introduction. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the review, starting with the blade. And by the way, I have quite a bit of carry time and use on this knife, over a year. And it has been a pocket favorite of mine throughout all of that time. I mean, this thing really has gotten carried and used quite a lot. And to say that it impressed me would be an understatement, especially considering the steel is 4116 Krupp. Now, 4116 is a steel that I have quite a lot of experience with and have historically never been very impressed with, including in other Cold Steel knives. I always found that it was, comparable, maybe 440A at best. Oftentimes I thought it to be worse than that. But something about the way Cold Steel treated the 4116 on this Pro-Lite, I don't know about every other Pro-Lite, but this one, it has been remarkable. I mean, it really does hold up against steels like, AUS 8 or HCR 13 MOV, and, possibly actually a little better than those. And while that may not sound that impressive to many of you, when you look at the composition of 4116 versus those steels, it should be inferior in almost every category, but this thing really did perform above and beyond. Something about their heat treat on this is insanely good, because this thing held its edge way better than I ever could have hoped for during a lot of use, including going out of my way to break down several dozen cardboard boxes, and I mean large cardboard boxes, the kind of things you'll get with washing machines and large televisions and guitars, because I am a musician and getting guitars is just kind of a thing. So that's a lot of cardboard, very large boxes, and it did very well. Okay, in terms of sharpening up, it touched up incredibly easily because this 4116 is a softer steel, so it is super easy to put an edge on. And the rust resistance has been pretty much perfect. I mean, I have never oiled this knife. I've never really worried about taking care of it because I've always thought 4116 would be pretty rust-proof, and here we're seeing that it really, really is, because this thing, I mean, the blade's a little dirty, but nothing I couldn't wipe off of it. So very impressed with the blade here. This one is a clip point. They made them in a few others, like a Tanto blade, and I think they also made them in a drop point. Okay, but I went with the clip point. Nice hollow grind, starting about the midsection down. Good fine tip, works really well for penetrating all your clamshell packages and Amazon bubble mailers and whatever else you've got coming in. So, yeah, great slicing blade, very well performing. The blade shape, perfect, just the right amount of belly. And the thickness, not too bad. Okay, it's not super thin, but I wouldn't call it thick either. Deployment and lockup, well, we have deployment via the thumb stud, which is reversible to the left-hand side. Thank you, Cold Steel, for making lefty-friendly knives. And you can already see the pocket clip can be moved over there as well. But it deploys via the thumb stud, and it didn't quite... Working around the camera is always harder. It's actually really easy to get this thing out, without any wrist flick, because building up pressure against a lockback, or in this case a triad lock, is never really the hardest thing. You just have to start with a little more pressure upward before moving your thumb outward. And I find that always allows me to get a very quick deployment, as it builds kind of a certain amount of energy and force into the action. So deployment is fast, as you can see. Lockup is great. If I really, really rock this thing, yeah, I can flex that lock bar just a little bit. I can do that with every lockback, so I'm not really surprised by that. Side to side. I do have a little bit of wiggle in this one now, after quite a bit of use, so I'll have to tighten that pivot up, which you can see will be very easily adjusted. No jimping, so to speak, on the top spine of the knife. We do have these little molded in grooves here in the glass-filled nylon handle, or GFN handle. They do nothing to provide traction. The handle itself is 4.5 inches long. Forgot to mention the blade is 3.5 inches long, sorry. The handle being 4.5 inches long. And textured, the texture does nothing to add grip, but it's okay because we have relatively deep channels cut for our hand to fit into, and my hand does fit in there quite well. It is a comfortable knife, maybe a little bit blocky, but nothing that I found caused any hot spots. We are not steel lined in here, so that is part of the reason why this knife is so light for its size, a remarkable 3.2 ounces. And you can see that we have a combination of screw construction and some pin construction, so yes, you can take it apart, but it'll be a little bit more work because you'll have to tap those pins out. Pocket clip, Cold Steel branded. You can see not a loop over deep carry clip, which I prefer. Very stout though. Okay, very, very strong. The lip doesn't flare up too much, so it doesn't really get caught on things. I haven't had this grab and get caught on anything. By the way, there you can see the centering is almost perfect. And the clip can be reversed to the left-hand side. And they even included some additional screws there to give a more presentable look, which I do think it is a handsome knife. Also, something about the blade I forgot to mention, stonewash finish. Sorry about that, guys. Kind of all over the place here. But yeah, lanyard hole down here is large enough for 550 paracord or whatever other kind of cordage you would like to make your lanyard out of, which is great, especially if you don't like using pocket clips. I know my brother never uses the pocket clips on any of his knives, which is probably why he lost his Spyderco Manix too. But he never uses pocket clips, so a lanyard is a great thing to have if you are like him and prefer going just dropped in the pocket. Pretty much covered everything I could imagine. I mean, I enjoyed this knife quite a bit, and I still intend to carry and use it. I give away a lot of knives to friends and to family, and I sell a few to, fund new knives. This is one that's going nowhere. This thing is absolutely staying with me. Yes, it was made in Taiwan. I don't personally care. I believe a quality knife is a quality knife no matter where it's from. I say the same thing in my guitar reviews on my music channel. A quality guitar is a quality guitar no matter where it's made. Same thing is true for knives. A quality knife is a quality knife. They can be made in China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, America, Mexico, wherever in the world. If it's quality, I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. So, it's been my review of the Cold Steel Pro-Lite, but a nice fast review, since some people complain whenever my reviews go on for 20 minutes. I hope you have all enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative, and I'll see you next week with another knife review. See you then.